ready position in softball is a very important part of our pre-pitch routine. I'd like to go over some of the different ways that infielders will prepare prior to the pitch. And this will vary a lot depending on whether you're a middle infielder or whether you're a corner. Let's begin with a shortstop or a middle infielder, whether it's a shortstop or second baseman. There's a couple of ways that infielders will get into this position. And the important part of the position is when the ball enters the strike zone, that we need to make sure that we are square with our feet and able to move in 4 directions. We must be able to move forward, we must be able to move to our right, to our left, and we might also have to go back on a pop-up. So it's important that no matter what you do or how you get into that position, that when the ball gets in the strike zone, that our feet are square. There are 2 different ways that infielders get into the ready position. One is when infielders will use a stationary movement. In this position, many infielders will just make sure that their feet are light on their feet. You'll see some movement in their feet and they're ready to move. The second way that infielders will get into this position is they'll actually walk into it. And you'll see a lot of infielders that use this is they will start back here, maybe with their glove foot in front of them, and now as the ball enters the strike zone, you'll see them kind of walk in and then hop off their feet. So now they're prepared to move either way. Okay, one of the major differences between playing the corner positions, third base or first base, and playing the middle infielder is obviously you're closer to home plate. Middle infielders will tend to be much higher to start with before they get into the ready position because they're wanting to move laterally a long ways. As a corner, I don't have that luxury. I've got to be able to react primarily forward and 1 step to my right and to my left. So what you normally see with corner infielders is that the movement that they have is stationary. It's very subtle, they're off their feet, but they're ready to go. Very seldom will you ever see a third baseman actually walk into that position. The other area that I want to talk about is how low the third baseman or first baseman have to be. Obviously, since I'm so close to the plate, I don't have time to maybe charge the ball. I've got to react. And so most of the time you'll see our corners a little bit lower in their ready position versus our middle infielders who are much higher.
To review the ready position for middle infielders. When the ball enters the strike zone, get your feet squared up and your knees flexed. Use a stationary movement, stepping in place, staying light on your feet. Or walk into place, taking a few steps forward, then hopping into the ready position. At the corners, ready position is stationary movement. Your hands are out in front, get low to the ground.
Approaching the routine ground ball, a very important element in our game because many games are won or lost with the inability or the ability to field the routine play. We tend to spend a lot of time on the flashy play in our game, but it's the routine ground ball that will either allow you to win or allow you to get beat. Let's begin by talking about approaching the ball. First of all, we always want to charge the ball. We never want to sit back and be flat-footed and then be the victim of that last bad hop. We want to try to charge the ball, and it's our job as an infielder to pick our hop. As an infielder, we want to either pick the short hop or the long hop. We want to stay away from that in-between hop. So in order to do that, we need to have a good approach to the ground ball. Now there's 2 ways that I can approach this ball. One, I can go straight at this ground ball, and the problem is if I start moving through the ball to make my throw, the ball starts getting off to my throwing side of my body. The proper way, and the way that we want to try to get you to do, is to round the ball. So if I draw a straight line here, representing that straight approach to the ball, then I'm going to draw another line, almost a semicircle, as the approach that I'm going to take. And what this allows me to do is if I overplay the ball, and what I always tell kids is overplay it to your glove side ear. If I overplay the ball, now it allows me to gather momentum toward my throw. Plus, when I plant my right foot, spread my feet, plant my left foot, the ball stays on the glove side of the body. Why is it important to field the ball on the glove side? Well, if you stick your hand out right now, you'll see how nice and relaxed your hand is. This is very natural. The minute I start moving my hand toward the right side of my body, my forearm gets very tight. And this is a very common problem of kids making a bad approach to the ball. Because once they approach straight at the ball, and then they start trying to move through the ball moves over to my throwing side, if you can see right there. By rounding the ball, or getting through the ball, this is what's going to allow me to plant, spread, and keep the ball on my glove side. Another common problem in approaching the ground ball is our body position. Many a times young infielders will stay very high and they will start dropping down on the ground ball at the last minute, kind of like a helicopter landing. A good infielder will look like an airplane landing, and if you watch an airplane land, they gradually start getting low to the ground. A good infielder does the same thing. As I approach the ball, I start constantly getting lower, and now as I round the ball, I'm in a good position with the ball on my glove side to field the ball in this position.
To review approaching the ground ball, round the ball, overplaying it to your glove hand side. Gradually get lower to the ground. Bend at the knees and keep the ball to the glove side of your body.
Now that we've approached the ground ball, it's time to get ourselves in a good, sound fielding position that will allow us success. A couple of key elements about the fielding position. Number one, good infielders always stagger their feet. The glove foot is always slightly in front of the back foot. And there's a good reason for this. If I square my feet up and then I try to bend down and get my butt low to the ground, what you're going to find is that my weight gets on my heels. By staggering my feet slightly, it allows me to keep the weight on the balls of my feet, to keep my weight forward, which will allow me a smooth transition when I get into my footwork. So the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we're always adjusting with our legs, not our back. A common problem is young infielders will adjust with their back, and next thing you know, they feel the ball very deep between their legs. Very tough to track the ball when you're looking down at it. Okay, once we've had a good solid approach to the ball, the most important principle is getting down at the ball. I like to try to tell our young infielders that I would like to see your glove as low as possible when the ball takes its last hop. The reason for this is that our hands work much quicker from the ground up than they do from up to down. A couple of key principles in fielding. Number one, we talked about keeping the ball on the glove side. But another key part is making sure that we bend at the legs and get our hands out in front of our nose. I used to use the concept of a triangle. And if I draw a triangle where the base of the triangle is my feet, and the apex of the triangle, it's kind of an off-center triangle to where the peak of the triangle is where I'm going to field the ball. And if you notice from the side that is definitely out in front of me. The other thing is when you're extending your hands out for the ball, you want to keep flexion in your arms. You don't want to stiffen your arms out. Now your hands become bricks. They become very tight. Okay, we want to have soft hands, so we want to make sure that our hands have a little crack in the elbow, that they're relaxed, but they are out in front of ourselves so that we can secure the ball. In securing the ball, there's two ways that we secure the ball. The first is by having the hand at the side of the glove. The second is by actually having the hand on top of the glove. Now, when you're using the hand on top of the glove, it's very important that you point your fingers up. Because if you point your fingers toward the ball, that's a very good chance of you getting your fingers jammed. By keeping your fingers up, even if the ball hits your fingers and you get a bad hop, you're still able to play. I like the hand on top because this allows me to get the ball out of the glove as soon as possible to get ready to throw. The one thing I do not like infielders to do is take the glove in the ball to the throwing hand. You see this a lot. You see a lot of one-handed infielders. And the problem with it is a lot of times they will secure the ball, but then they have a hard time getting the ball out of the glove. It's much quicker for me to take my throwing hand to the ball and get it out in preparation to make a good, strong, accurate throw.
To review fielding position, stagger your feet with your glove hand foot slightly in front of your throwing hand foot. Get your glove as low as possible. Your feet should be placed like they're at the base of a triangle. Then field the ball out in front at the apex of the triangle. To secure the ball, you can place your throwing hand either at the side of the glove or on top of the glove.
Okay, there's two types of ground balls that infielders will try to field. That's the importance of charging the ball. The first type of ground ball is a short hop. This is as the ball just hits the ground and we want to try to secure the ball before it turns into a in-between hop. The short hop should be fielded in a forward motion. Back in the old days, we used to always teach our infielders to funnel the ball or give with the ball. And the one thing that I realized, if we take a short hop and we start giving with the short hop, we actually end up turning it into an in-between hop. So that's why nowadays you see a lot of infielders actually go get the ball on the short hop. And when we talk about going get to the ball, we're not talking about a violent move toward the ball, but we're talking about a forward move to not allow that ball to rise up on us and turn into an in-between hop. The other hop is a long hop. This is when you get that nice routine hop, the ball's up a little bit. That's the ball that you can go ahead and give with like you're catching an egg. You don't have to go get the long hop, but you can give with the short hop. It's very important that infielders either pick the short hop or the long hop. If we've not been able to secure the short hop or the long hop and we happen to get that in-between hop, obviously we are in front of the ball in a good proper position. One aspect of fielding that ball is to let the ball come up, and the reason for being square is it will hit you in the chest, fall out in front of you. And any time in infield play that you happen to bobble a ball, make it a habit to pick up the ball with your bare hand. It takes time if I pick up the ball with the glove, because now I've got to exchange the ball to my throwing hand. But if the ball's on the ground, I can pick it up barehanded, I'm ready to make a throw. Another thing to think about is if you do have a bad hop and you do not want to try to keep the ball in front of you, or you want to try to glove it, the only way that I see possible to try to get a glove on the ball is to open up your glove side so that your hands are a little bit quicker and it supplies you room to move your glove.
To review the types of ground balls, short hops should be fielded in a forward motion. With the long hop, give with the ball, letting it come into you. If you do get a bad hop, an in-between hop, open up with your glove hand side, which allows you to bring your glove hand up